Well, thanks for having me here, Reggie, and thank you everybody for joining. So I'm Aidan Augustine. I am the co-founder and president of Feathr, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about some of the software capabilities we have here, how it might fit into your marketing plans, and the work we've done with other folks. Is this coming through fine? Screen share, Reggie?
Cool. Things are looking good, my friend.
Awesome. Alrighty, so first off, we specifically work on 2 to 3 different types of digital marketing. We're going to stand out a little bit differently from some of the other folks you've seen today in that Feathr is not an email-centric platform. So while most of the folks here today are talking about marketing automation, I think in the most commonly understood meaning of that term, which is an email marketing automation tool, Feathr actually is focused on automating your digital advertising campaigns and automating your influencer marketing, referral marketing campaigns. So these are the 2 main ways that we fit in. These are the types of channels that we help with. We do focus specifically on associations. So Feathr currently has over 800 associations as customers. This is what we do. Primary use cases are using the digital advertising, using influencer marketing to promote membership and to promote events. So I'm going to just set the groundwork on digital advertising and then jump into a product walkthrough. So I think we're all familiar with ad retargeting 101, right? Everyone's been shopping online. You look at a pair of shoes and then you don't buy it. Next thing you know, ads for that pair of shoes start chasing you around the web, right? So this is targeted digital advertising. It's based on cookies. There's an ad exchange kind of behind the scenes, like an auction taking place for people to buy in real time advertising space. I'm just showing this to set the stage for this is the type of targeted digital advertising that Feathr helps you do. We make it very easy to do it, and we make it easy to do multiple different types, because ad retargeting 101, like we're showing here, this might be the most common type, right? Which is when people visit your website. This is just showing a real example here. So someone visits your association's website and they click around looking at the value of membership. If they don't join as a member, you can then retarget them with ads about the value of membership, and when they click, it'll bring them back to the site, right? And just another example of a real use case here. Someone visits your virtual conference website and they don't register for the event. You can retarget them with ads when they're checking the weather or they're checking the news. They'll see your ads follow them around the web, right? So this is ad retargeting. But ad retargeting is actually one of 6 different types of targeted advertising that we support here at Feathr. It's part of this kind of parent category called programmatic advertising, which is essentially showing the right ad to the right person at the right time. And you can use all different types of web data to do that. So what recent websites have they been to? What recent search terms have you done? You can target based on an email list, which is very useful for maybe segmenting current members versus former members versus prospective never been members before, right? You can target based on specific buildings. These are all just different types of programmatic advertising, different ways to show the right ad to the right person at the right time. And Feathr is a tool that makes it easy to do that. So I'm going to switch now into showing the actual Feathr platform. I'm going to show a few different examples of different types of campaigns. I'll show how we do reporting. I'll show you can organize your campaigns in a nifty tool that we call Flights. All right, all good? Let's jump into it. So there are 2 main sections of the Feathr dashboard, Feathr user interface. We are now within the Feathr web app here. You can see on the left, there's projects and there's data. So data is website analytics data. So Feathr has very robust website analytics. So we track who's visiting your website, what pages are they visiting, how long are they on the site, how often do they come back, and so forth. And this data is primarily tracked anonymously. And so you can see down here, these are specific recent visitors to this website. And they're tracked as contact records within the Feathr dashboard. However, because they're tracked anonymously, we give them these placeholder names. That's why you can see here, these silly names as placeholders. We assign a random color and a random bird species as our way of tracking. This is a unique person who has been to this website, but we don't know who they are yet. And each of these people, we can see their history. Oh, it looks like a couple of questions are coming in the chat real quick. Oh, okay. All right. Well, my mistake. Let's try this again. I was switching screens and I thought that the screen share would follow, but I guess it did not. So here we go. Let's try this again. Is that better? Now we're seeing the Feathr web app?
Yes, we are. And it was crazy because we could still see your mouse moving around, but it wasn't on.
Yeah, that was my mistake. I thought if I flipped windows, it would follow, so my bad. But so anyway, like I said, we're in the Feathr web app here, 2 sections, projects and data. We're in the data section. And you can see here, these are all of the contact records that are being tracked. Most of them are being tracked anonymously. And so as you can see here, like I was mentioning, the kind of silly bird name and color. But you can click into any one of these and you can see, even though this person is anonymous, so we don't have any of their contact information yet, we don't have the traditional fields that you might have on a contact record, this person is still being tracked. You can see on this day at this time, coming from a Firefox browser on a Windows desktop computer, they visited this website and this is where they came from, right? And you can kind of scroll back and you can see, and now we're back last month, they came to this page from this page, and now last month and so forth. So you can still see the history. Now, is it useful for you to click in and out of a bunch of individual website visitors? Probably not. It might be a little bit educational for you. But my point here is just showing the level of detail that is being tracked by the Feathr analytics, which, more interesting, you can then use to create segments. And so you can see here, this is showing anybody all time that's been tracked from this particular account. What if we said we want to show only the people who we've seen taken action since January 1st? And so, okay, that's a much smaller subset of people. And then we say, well, let's add the filter of who's been to a specific website. So who's been to the homepage of this organization? Okay, and that's a smaller segment. And then we might say, well, I want to layer in people who not only have been to the homepage and we've seen them do something this month, but also the total number of times that we've seen them across multiple website visits is greater than 1. So who have we seen at least 2 separate times, and they've been to this page, and they've done it within the last 26 days in the current month, right? So this is just showing how you can layer in one filter at a time to get ever more nuanced subsegments of your website audience, and then you can save this set of filters as a segment, which then you can target with ads. So kind of tying it back, all of this website analytics data here, some of it is purely informational. It's great for you to see what's happening, but more interesting is taking action on it. So using that data to run targeted digital advertising campaigns. So now we're in the other main section of the Feathr dashboards. We were in data before, which is all the website analytics and creating segments, and then projects. So projects is where you activate upon that data. So as you see here, a project is a way you can kind of organize all the different campaigns around a specific initiative or project or event, whatever it might be. So you can see here, here are specific events. There is a membership drive. There might be educational courses. So a project is whatever kind of initiative you want to collect reports and information and campaigns all in one nifty place. So I'm going to click in here to show an example. These are all of the campaigns around their membership push in 2020. So you can see here, as I mentioned before, there's many different types of ad campaigns supported by Feathr. So retargeting is the classic example, like I mentioned, of people who have been to your website recently. But there are also targeting based on geofencing, which is location, targeting based on an email list and mapping an email list to cookies and then targeting the cookies that matched from that list. But as you can see, if you use all different ad campaigns and you're using it over the course of the year, this can get unwieldy because you have so many different types of campaigns. So we created a marketing funnel organization tool, which we call flights. And so you can see here I was in the campaign full list here, but all these campaigns are also organized into flights. And a flight is essentially a marketing funnel. It's a series of campaigns to move a prospective audience through the stages of your marketing funnel to ultimately drive whatever the action is that you're aiming for. And so you can see here within their membership project, they had several different flights. So in this case, this was their overall membership acquisition effort. This was more specialized into young professionals and sub-industries that they were targeting in the membership drives they're in. And this is yet a different one here. And so this is a way you can stay organized. And so now I'm going to click into the membership acquisition flight here. You can see these are 3 stages of a marketing funnel. So top of the funnel is building up the audience, driving new site traffic. Middle of the funnel is engaging those people to drive interest. And then bottom of the funnel, the final leg here is driving action. And in this case, action was joining the association membership. And so all of the campaigns in this flight have the same ultimate goal. So everything here is in pursuit of driving that final step of getting someone to join the association. And that allows you to keep everything organized, but also to have roll-up reporting across all of these different individual ad campaigns. You can see the cumulative stats rolled up here. So across all of these different campaigns, this is the total amount that was spent on advertising. This is the total number of unique people that were reached. This is how many times the ads were seen. This is how many times they were clicked. These are the number of unique people that clicked, because some people might have clicked multiple times. Is net new people who were driven to the website for the first time, and so forth. And you can see all these different stats that are shown here. So I'm going to now just click into an individual campaign to show the reporting that can be seen therein. So I'm going to jump into this one here. So you see this is a specific ad campaign. So I can just scroll down and show these are the ads that are being shown, right? So banner ads that were uploaded for this specific campaign. And there's targeting criteria, maybe targeting people who visit the website recently. And then the settings were set. I would like to spend $500 was set as the budget. And you can see $497.62 have been spent so far. This campaign is still live. But actually, this campaign looks like it ended in May of last year, excuse me. So $500 was the budget. You can see this is how many times the ads were shown, an average of 7 times per person. You can see the number of clicks and so forth, the click-through rate of those ads. How much did it cost per click? How much did it cost per 1,000 ad views? And ultimately, and probably most importantly, how much did it cost per acquisition CPA here, right? So this is how much was spent on advertising to ultimately drive each successful conversion. You see here 10,000 unique people were reached, a heat map of where the ads were shown geographically based on IP address, and then reporting on both a day-by-day basis, clicks versus views, where the ads were shown in terms of the different websites or the different ad networks, and then a calculation of ROI. So from the specific campaign, there were 32 conversions, and based on whatever the value of a conversion was, this is the estimated ROI of that campaign. So you can see there's very robust reporting on how every cent ends up being spent and every step along the way. And zooming back out here, this is a specific campaign. You can see these are all different ad campaigns that fit together. So these ones here, these are email list matching campaigns to drive people to the website based on the fact that they were on an email list. And these were efforts to retarget those people and drive them ultimately towards that action. So I know we're moving fast here, but hopefully that was an overview of how you can manage individual ad campaigns and how you can thread multiple ad campaigns together into one flight with the goal of driving whatever some overarching outcome might be. In this case, membership acquisition. Another example might be a series of ads and ad campaigns with the goal of driving registration for an annual meeting or virtual conference, and so forth. So that's the ad targeting piece here. Maybe I'll just show one or two other examples so we can see additional use cases. So this is an example of a geofencing campaign. You see the reporting is the same, but one of the things I want to highlight here is this is an example of targeted digital advertising used for advocacy. And so in this case, you see these ads are all about the issues related to this association's audience, their members, and it's ads about do your homework, make sure your candidate, you know where your candidates stand about insert issue here. And so these ads were an awareness push related to advocacy. The example before was obviously about membership recruitment. So this just goes to show how different types of targeted ad campaigns can be used for such a variety of different use cases. You can even geofence government buildings, so buildings of regulators, buildings of the offices of legislators. So you can target the buildings where the elected officials or the appointed officials work and reach them directly. You can also use it as more public awareness of targeting ads to either your members or to other voters or to other influential people in positions of power who you want to educate on a specific issue. So that's an example of how targeted ad campaigns can be used for advocacy. And again, driving attendance to events tends to be another very, very popular use case. So I'm going to shift gears now and talk about the other kind of most popular part of Feathr, very different from what we're talking about with ads. So the advertising capabilities, that's all about website analytics, targeting the right person, the right ad to the right person at the right time. The other part of Feathr that I mentioned was automating your influencer marketing campaigns. So I'm going to now switch back to the slides for a second and show a couple of examples here, and then I'll show you what it looks like in the web app itself. All right, so let's talk about Feathr invites. So I'm sure you all have the experience of you have your speakers, and you would really like your speakers for your virtual conference to share onto their social media the fact that they're speaking. The fact that they're speaking at your event probably means that they're a thought leader in the industry. It probably means they have lots of LinkedIn connections of other people in the industry who might be interested in attending the event, who might be interested in coming to see them speak. Same concept with sponsors, right? You have sponsors, you have exhibitors. Those companies in the industry probably have email lists, social media followers, website traffic filled with people who are potential attendees to your annual meeting. So what we've done is we've tried to productize the process that I'm sure many of you tried to do with your teams manually of giving banners and other types of co-marketing collateral to speakers, sponsors, exhibitors, to try to get them to help promote your event and their involvement therein. And so we call this Feathr Invites, and it's kind of in this bucket of either influencer marketing or invitation marketing, referral marketing, whatever you'd like to call it. So just to show, these are some of the types of influencers you probably have as stakeholders in your events, right? This is an example from ASAE. So I was a speaker at ASAE in 2019, and you can see here, this was the landing page that specifically highlighted my talk, right? So it had my headshot, my little bio, my session time and description right here. So every speaker would be given a landing page just like this, a vanity page that just highlights them. They would also be given a custom banner that they can post onto social, as well as an email invitation that they can send out to their list. If they have one, or similarly to sponsors and exhibitors, they would all be given this same type of vanity collateral. And now I'm going to show you a couple of live examples of that. Let's jump into Chrome here. So this is just showing two side by side here. So these were generated from the same template, and this is where the automation part comes in. Just to clarify, is this showing the two side-by-side windows this time? Since I've been switching around, just want to confirm.
Yep.
Great. So you can see each sponsor or each exhibiting company in this case is given their own vanity landing page that has their logo, their name front and center, their company description. If this was an in-person trade show, it would have their booth number. And so this is, you can see how they each get one that's custom to them as their information. But otherwise, the rest of these pages are branded for the event. And it's because it's the marketing team at AUSA, in this case, that builds the page. And inside of Feathr, what they're doing is they're building a template for this page. So they only have to design it once. And they have merge fields identified. So similar to how in an email you're sending out, you might personalize it with the name and so forth of the recipient. In this case, it's being personalized with the name, the logo, the description, and so forth for the company. And it's spitting out a page for each one. So they design this page one time inside of Feathr. They upload a list of 500 sponsors, exhibitors, whatever it might be, and then Feathr spits out 500 separate unique landing pages or microsites, one for each exhibitor that's custom and vanity personalized to them. Same idea works with speakers, like I mentioned. And just to show the template that this came from, so now I'm back into the Feathr web app here, and you can see I'm in the templates section, and they had a number of different ones, but to show the one that I'm in here, you can see this is the nifty drag and drop landing page builder within Feathr. So it's very simple. And like I said, you just decide what type of content, you drag it over, you can decide the structure of each row. So it's like it's very simple. You don't need to know any HTML and any CSS to do this. It's just drag and drop. We have pre-made templates as well. But you can see here, this one on the right, this is where those pages were generated from. So they built this one time in here. They have these merge fields, right? At partner name, partner logo image, partner name, partner description. So they build this one time. They upload their list of 500 exhibitors, and then each exhibitor gets their own vanity page spat out with their information merged in. It's, again, same idea. Each speaker could get one with their headshot, with their bio, with their session time and description. The rest of the page would be information about the event itself. So the two main benefits of this approach of automating your influencer marketing. One, the obvious, is the time savings. So instead of you needing to build custom pages for each one, or custom banners for each one, or custom email invites for each one, you can now have personalized ones. So either that would take you much more time to do manually, or to save time, you would give one generic one to every speaker and every exhibitor. In this case, with the same amount of time to build it once, you can actually give that vanity custom one to everyone. So they get something that's more personalized to them, making them more likely to share it onto LinkedIn to promote themselves, but also in doing so, they're promoting you. So that's one. The second main benefit of this approach is the fact that it's all trackable. So just like with the ad campaigns and how there was very robust reporting before, the same idea with an invites campaign, right? So here we are in the campaigns list here. You can see all the different types of ad campaigns that this customer has run, but they also ran an invites campaign, and you can see it's the same type of reporting. So you can see how many times have people interacted with their invite collateral, how many unique people were reached so far by this campaign. And you can see the split between the banner ads that were given to the sponsors and exhibitors versus the email invitations that were given to them versus the landing pages or microsites that were given to them. So you can see across the three different types of collateral, how much engagement did each get and how was that divided out over time. You can see the totals rolled up on the top, like I mentioned, and then scrolling down at the bottom, probably most interestingly, you can see how many people have actually converted from this campaign, right? And I think this is a free to register event, and that's why it says $0 of ROI here, because there's no dollar value necessarily attached in this case to a conversion. But there were 95 people so far that have registered for this conference or this event through the exhibitors and the sponsors sharing out their collateral. So you can see how many people, you can actually see each individual one if you wanted to, and track through their whole history of engagement. So that's showing some of the reporting on Feathr invites. Hopefully that was helpful to see how you can automate the creation of that vanity collateral and share it out and get those speakers and get those sponsors and get those exhibitors, or for that matter, your board members, your steering committee, get them to help you promote the event. All righty. I can show some more things. I don't know how much more time we have allotted here, maybe 10 more minutes, is that right? But
you got time left and no questions have popped up just yet.
All right, well, I will pause for a second and ask for questions in case anybody here has specific ones, would love to answer them. Otherwise, I can just continue to show a few other, maybe more nuanced tidbits, but those are the main two pieces: automating targeted digital advertising campaigns by tracking website analytics, by making it easy to launch the different types of campaigns all out of one place, by organizing them in one place, and by having that flights feature to keep them all kind of like coordinated one stage of the marketing funnel at a time with the ultimate goal in roll-up reporting. And the other bit here is which just showed, which is automating that influencer marketing initiative. Okay, we got a question. All right.
See what that question is, sir. I'll read it to you. How do Feathr visitor profiles get married to email addresses?
That's a great question, right? So, so we do have that option, yes. So there's two things to say there. So the first is that everything I just showed can be done totally anonymously. So you can run all these ad campaigns as well as run this type of influencer marketing, exhibitor invitation type of campaigns, all without needing any integration with your AMS or with your registration system, with your CRM. There's no need to connect the two. However, if you want to, it does open up the possibility to do some interesting things. So I can show a quick maybe example of that. So we do have an add-on which we call Feathr ID, which is essentially just a more detailed analytics tool. It allows you to connect the personal identifiable information that you have in an AMS or in your CRM or in your registration tool and connect them to the otherwise anonymous cookie, or cookie IP address, et cetera, the unique identifier that we use for tracking a website visitor.
Okay, you're showing it now. Okay.
Yeah, I'm sharing it now. So, so like I said before, by default, when people visit the site, they're given, just these kind of placeholder names, right? The bird name and the color, and that just lets us track people anonymously. But you have the option when you set up. Well, I guess I should also mention all this is driven by one snippet of tracking code of JavaScript, right? You just copy and paste this, just like any other tracking pixel or tracking code snippet. You would paste this into your your footer, your header of your website, somewhere that hopefully shows up on every page. We can work with you if you have some specialization with your AMS or with your registration tool to make sure that the tracking code gets placed at the points of conversion, which sometimes is on another platform, right? Your registration vendor or whatever it might be. But this one snippet of code just is placed everywhere on all the website pages automatically. And then you can track, each visitor is automatically tracked. And when they come back multiple times, that's all threaded together. So that's all happening. Again, that's all can happen anonymously. But you can also configure this. And if you purchase the Feathr ID add-on, we will configure it for you to make sure that when it's on a page that has a form submission, whether that's a simple form like download this PDF, or it's at the end of registration for an event with a checkout and a cart and purchasing confirmation, we can configure it so that any web page that has fields and is collecting data through a form submission, that data also gets appended to their record inside of Feathr. And so while the prior example I gave was somebody who's anonymous, you can see here an example, and this is a staff member in this case, who their information was captured because this they had the Feathr ID JavaScript snippet enhancement set up on maybe a register for an event page. And when somebody registers for that event, all of the information they're submitting for that event also gets appended to their record in Feathr. And you can see here it fills out this additional information here. And you can have custom fields. So again, whatever fields you're tracking in your AMS or whatever fields you're tracking in your registration, we can set that up to match, and then that pulls that data into Feathr. And what that does is, one, it allows you to see who the conversions are, so you can deduplicate. So after running an ad campaign that just says, yeah, you got 95 conversions, but they're all anonymous, instead of them being anonymous, you'd actually be able to see. And that would allow you to deduplicate or to kind of benchmark, are these the same people that, our registration says register on this date, and allows you to kind of like match and see. But also, the more interesting thing is that over time, it allows you to bring those custom data fields to bear for future targeting of ad campaigns. So if you collect a lot of information during an event registration, for example, people are filling out which sessions are you interested in, or which topics are you interested in, or which products are you shopping for on the trade show floor this year, information like that. After the event, you still have that information, and you can target ads to different segments of your audience based on that more nuanced information that you collected. So that's one of the main opportunities that opens up. So that's, go ahead.
I'm going to ask a question that's probably obvious, but maybe not. Say I don't have any specific forms, but I do have a single sign-on process, so that information is there somewhere. You can still collect that information via cookies or something else.
That's right. So we can work with your AMS vendor so that if people are logging into a membership portal or something like that, you can use that information to identify and kind of backfill the heretofore anonymous records. And suddenly when they log in, we know, oh, this was actually Reggie the whole time, right? So you can use, yes, is the short answer.
So talk a little bit about integrations, because I don't know if you have formal integrations that you already have up with major AMS vendors or event vendors, or if they're API based. So how do you do integrations?
Right. So, at this point, I feel like we've worked with almost every AMS and registration vendor on the planet. It certainly feels that way, although we continue to encounter new ones. And, it's a pain point I'm sure we all experience. There are so many of them. But at this point, we've worked with 50 plus of each category, right? So I can almost guarantee that we have worked with whomever it is that you might have. In terms of the specific technical component of it, for the most part, we don't need to do direct API integrations for the reason I mentioned before. We are operating based on website visitors, which we can, can I do video now? That's fun.
Yeah.
Hello. Yeah, so we don't need to integrate back and forth with contact records in order to do all the things that we have here. So really the point of integration for us is placing that JavaScript snippet on all of the pages, either the website to collect data or at the end of a registration flow, a membership flow, a checkout flow to make sure we can record the conversion. And those are the kind of 2 points really of integration: is collecting data from website visitors or collecting data from form submission, and that's all done through configuration, which is of that tracking pixel. But again, we've done that now with over 100 cumulatively AMS vendors, marketing automation vendors, registration vendors, CMS website vendors. So usually it can be done self-serve, and we can just tell you where to place the code. We have implementation engineers who are happy to roll up their sleeves and jump in with you. We have direct SLAs with some AMS vendors and registration vendors, where there's like a mutual agreement where their team is trained on how to put this Feathr pixel into place, and our team works with them directly. And so we're happy to work with the vendors. And so whatever it takes, we will make sure that the tracking works. And that's a big part of our value proposition. Some of you on the call here may have tried working with self-serve on Google Ads or with other retargeting tools, and you're kind of on your own to figure out the tracking pixel placement and making it work with all the different systems that you have. In our case, because we are in the association industry and we know all of the other vendors and their friends, and we will take it upon ourselves. Anybody who purchases Feathr, we will make sure that the tracking code is set up and works for them. And again, our implementation engineers will roll up their sleeves and help if necessary to get it all working correctly. That being said, go ahead.
Got 2 more questions for you. One of them
Sure.
is, have you worked with any of your clients where they wanted you to write some of this data back to their systems of record?
It's come up a couple of times, and there are ways that can be done, I think, is the short answer. The more interesting answer, which I think everyone will be more excited to hear, is we are in API integration talks right now and partnership talks with a handful of the most popular AMSs to do some more robust and more interesting things that is bi-directional. But because of the nature of the types of tools or the types of marketing channels that Feathr currently operates in, that being ad retargeting and this influencer marketing tool, it has not come up very much, because they're kind of a little bit standalone, separate from email marketing, which is intimately tied into the core AMS. But now, so it's more getting data from other places into Feathr to use it for ad targeting, as opposed to us collecting novel data that isn't already being collected through registration, for example. But we are tracking the website behavior, and that's something interesting that some folks have asked to be ported back. And we have some exciting product news coming soon.
That was the second question. What can we look forward to in the future from Feathr?
All right. Well, we are building out an email marketing product module. So that's a substantial enhancement and change for us. So as of this moment, as I mentioned at the start of this call, ad retargeting and invites influencer marketing are the 2 main engagement channels, but email marketing is something that we will be building out, and more news on that soon. But it will be, I'll just leave it at that.
Okay. Well, so first of all, thank you, sir, for a wonderful demo. I think, folks got a different view of campaigns, if you will, because the other ones have been mostly around the email marketing campaign. So this is a good bit of stuff to add to their quiver, if you will. So thank you, sir, and we'll look forward to seeing you down the road a little bit.
All right. Thank you, Reggie. Have a wonderful day.
Good seeing you.